Hey guys, iDevice Help here. Welcome back to the channel. And today I wanted to share with you guys a few tips and recommendations on how to make your older iPhone slightly faster once again. Now, as time goes by, Apple releases new software updates, and older devices are supported, such as the iPhone SE, the iPhone 6s, 6s Plus, and the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. These are the older iPhones that support the latest OS as of right now, 14.3 as of the filming of this video. But with new software, of course, Apple releases a ton of new features. Now, a lot of these features do get optimized for older iPhones, but they're developed with newer devices in mind, which have more processing power. And in this video, I'm going to show you a few tips, as I mentioned, and recommendations of things you can do to actually improve the user experience on your older iPhone and make it slightly faster and better performance for you. So the first thing I want to talk about is the actual UI. So the way you use your iPhone, right, we have all these applications that are preloaded on the home screen. And of course, with iOS 14, we now have a few widgets that we can add to the home screen. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. If you have an older iPhone, like an iPhone 6s, SE first generation, maybe even iPhone 7, try to keep the widgets to a minimum, maybe one per page or two maximum. Keep in mind that widgets do refresh in the background, taking up resources, and that could slow your iPhone down if you have too many installed on the home screen of your iPhone. Now, another great thing to do, or good idea, is to delete applications that you're simply not using. For example, I have a few apps right here. For example, this tips application right here that is pre-installed with iOS. I can remove it. I'm not really using the application. I hardly ever use it. So I just remove it from the home screen so it doesn't take up any resources. If you don't use the compass, you can remove that as well. Just any app that you don't use, for example, stock, I don't use, I can delete that from the home screen, especially on the older devices, as I mentioned, to improve overall the user experience and the performance of your older iPhones. Keep in mind, the more applications you have installed on your iPhone, number one, it takes up more storage from your iPhone, and number two, it could take up resources as well. Now, another thing I always recommend is if you go to the widgets pane right here on the left, you may have a few pre-installed widgets. Apple gives you the weather, they give you the clock, they also give you the calendar and the news, as you can see here. And I think Maps is also pre-installed on the widget pane when you first install iOS. If there's a widget that you're simply not using, just go ahead and remove it from the widget pane, because it is going to be constantly reloading in the background and it's going to be taking up resources. They're making your iPhone slightly slower as well. So I recommend just removing any app that you don't use that's pre-installed on your iPhone, or any widget that you don't use. Just simply remove it from the home screen. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is storage. As more time goes by, of course, you have more things on your iPhone, but if your iPhone storage is almost full, this can make your device slightly slower. You can head on over to General and then iPhone Storage, and in here, you can go ahead and delete or remove anything that might be taking up space on your iPhone that you're not going to be using often. So for example, the Books application here and the data behind that, I can actually remove it, therefore not taking up as much storage and or resources from this iPhone as well. Just keep in mind, the more things you have on your iPhone loading constantly, the slower it could get. Another misperception is if you go to the app switcher and there's an app that's open, most users just tend to close these applications out. That is a big mistake. If you have an application, for example, here Safari, and it is running in the background here, just simply let it run in the background. Don't quit the application from the app switcher, because if you do, it's going to resume the entire page again, or the app, and it's going to make your iPhone slower. If you jump into the applications that are preloaded, they'll just simply load right quickly and you don't have to wait for that reloading to happen. So there it is. Music is going to load right now. If I let it load here, you'll see that once I launch music once again, everything's going to be preloaded onto this iPhone, and then I'm not going to have to load this page once again, or this app. There we go. Launch it and just simply goes right back to where it left off. If I quit the application, it would actually have to reload the entire website or application, as you can see here, and that, number one, takes up a lot of battery and also resources and performance from your iPhone. So just leave them running in the background. iOS is designed to manage apps this way. And last but not least, I would like to talk about your iCloud and iCloud storage and things you actually send to the cloud. So here it is, the cloud settings, or iCloud settings. If there's anything you don't necessarily want to send to the cloud, go ahead and switch that off. For example, I don't need the news application to be syncing to the cloud, so therefore I can turn that off. I also don't want the Game Center to be syncing to the cloud, so turn every app and any settings that you don't necessarily want to be synced to the cloud. I have photos turned off as well. well. And that way you can save resources, save storage on the cloud, and performance will increase as well, because if things are constantly loading and syncing to the cloud, that's also taking up performance and CPU from your iPhone and making it slow as well. And these are just a few handful of tips that can help your iPhone be slightly faster on the newer OSs, especially on older iPhones. As I mentioned, iPhone SE first generation, the iPhone 6s, 6s Plus, and maybe even iPhone 7 and 7 Plus as well. These are just simple tips, but I'm pretty sure if you use these, they will make your iOS experience a lot smoother and faster. Let me know if you have any tips that you recommend in those comments down below. I would like to hear from you. Thank you for watching today's episode, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.